What's up, everybody? This is Ismortah. Yeah, we've got some Star Wars action going on today for my Sunday 9 a.m. Central board game stream here on twitch.tv/Ismortah. And what I'm showing you today is an unboxing of Star Wars Outer Rim. This game came out a long time ago. And I know there's been an announced expansion to this coming out later this spring or summer. But yeah, I finally got my hands on this game. I'm really excited about it because it is a 1 to 4 player game, which means I can play it solitaire. So I definitely also expect a future stream of showing a playthrough of the game as well. But the whole point of this, I just wanted to open it up, see what's inside the box. I've never seen it. I've just heard great things, and show you what's in the game and all the components. I won't get into the minutia of how to play the game because I'll get into that when I actually just show you me playing the game in a future stream. So I will check the feed, and be sure, if you like what you see, to like, comment, and subscribe here on twitch.tv/Ismortah. But just like other unboxings I'll do, not only will I unbox and show you types of components, but I'll show you individually each card so you can see all the cool stuff that's in it. True reveal. So you can see all the... Right. Cool. Actually, let me get a sweet water right quick, and then we will get into it. So this game is all about doing the life of a sketchy person on the Outer Rim. Different criminal activities. And it's got some fun art, some cool pieces on how you track different things. Let's see what it's all about. We're at Star Wars Outer Rim. Back of the box, here's an example of type of game you will see. Alright, let's open this baby up. Yeah, Lando's quote on the back: "Everything you've heard about me is true." Yes. I believe he said that in a solo as well, if I recall. Right. But definitely one of the things that drew to this game is the fact that it's solitaire. I have a lot of board games that are cool, but you need people to play. So it's like, okay, but what if I want to play right now? You know, what are great games that you can just get out and enjoy? That's one thing I like about KDM, and that's one thing that's great about this game, is you can just experience life in the Outer Rim in the comfort of your own home. Whereas one of my favorite board games probably of all time, Star Wars Rebellion, is exclusively a 2-player game. So you do need someone else. It's advertised as 2 to 4, but that's really bullshit. It's really diluting the game and saying someone do part of my turn, which is not truly a multiplayer game. A true multiplayer game is other people are doing their own actions in the game. Now, yes, you can divide up and conquer. It's just there's no added value to doing that in Rebellion. Like they said, you can divide up someone doing fleets versus ground forces, but you need the ground forces to carry the fleets where you need to go tactically at certain times. So you would still need, kind of like in a Memoir 44, a supreme commander, and then you have lieutenants under you, sort of that. And so that relationship doesn't quite work out. You still have someone that's being the alpha. Alright, so what we got here. Because I actually have no idea. Like, I only know what's in the back of the box, and I've only heard great things. So I have no clue. Alright, so we got a couple rule books, but this is typical to Fantasy Flight, is you have a, just like you've seen for like classic X-Wing, like that's the first time I've seen it, is you have learn to play the game, and then a reference for all the minutia of the rules. So this is really catered to getting you quickly into the game and going through the minutia of explaining and learning the game. Whereas this is just like a rules dump. So you can look up different things, dictionary, as you see here, and just see what are rules. Basically no pictures, no point-by-point explanations, but that's something you'll see in the rule book. Pictures, arrows, step-by-step explanations. So this is what we'll use to get into the game. But I'm not going to be going through these because I'm going to be showing you a playthrough later. But I will use probably the first page or so to help identify components as we reveal. Alright, so we got a lot of punch, a lot of tokens. Of course, we've got the rule books. Learn to play. A bunch of tokens. We have a bunch of plastic. And so I have to say, some really cool looking dice. Like gold marble dice, which I'll give you a closer view here in a sec. And a couple decks of cards. This box here does a great job of taking up extra space. And look at the bottom. More shit. I would just go, just for the sake of argument, was going to show you how this box does a good job of filling up space so stuff doesn't move. So this way stuff doesn't jostle around, it's pretty packed tightly. But they also did a good job of the fact that you pack stuff here, it stops from moving, but you can also pack stuff underneath in here as well, and you did. This has some pretty cool dials for tracking stuff in the game, which I didn't realize that this sort of thing was even in the game, this intricate dial, kind of like just something similar, but I know it's plastic, was like what's in the Initiative, for example. Same designer, Corey Knixia. But yeah, we'll bust it out. Like it's a really cool player board that's what's called double punch. So you have a punch board and a punch board that's glued on top of it. So you can do these really cool things of having slots for different tokens and pegs and shit. Pretty cool. And then of course your ships. Alright, so that is everything you get. Now we will open stuff up. Alright. So first I'll show you these tokens. So it looks like there's 3 different types of pieces. One, you have plastic stands, similar to what you've seen probably in Star Wars Rebellion, for holding up individual cards, individual standees. You have, looks like 7 standees. If I can count, 8 standees. I was like, that's a weird number, 7. 8. Probably because each player can have up to 2 characters, is what I'm guessing. But I have no idea. We'll find out. I also see 3 white pegs. These pegs look like something similar you see like in Battleship or something. Hopefully it's only 3. I didn't accidentally knock one off because that's a... Oh, you know, I did. Yeah, that's 4. I was like, that's a really weird number to only have 3. Maybe it's 1 for each player. We'll see here in a sec. And then we have these dice. That the dice honestly have similar UI as like Star Wars X-Wing. You have like hits, crits, focuses. That's pretty similar. Looks like those only 3 types, but it's really cool how they're marbled. And it's a really cool feel and look. So you got 6 of those. And actually, that's one of the things I was surprised that made me want to jump in the game. It's like, yeah, I heard good things, but when I heard, wow, I didn't realize it had such really cool components to the game. I'm a huge fan of components, because that's one reason you play board games, is to fiddle with the components. Otherwise, you'd play a digital version of the game, right? So I really love cool components. and the fact that you play solitaire. All right. Next, I'll bust out, since we're talking about it, are these player boards. And then I'll get into the minutiae, exactly what stuff is in this book once I get stuff out. Not to show like how to play the game, like I said, but just the cool stuff in it. All right, so these look like are your ships, and looking at these ships, show you an example, and I'll reveal. I'll show them all to you, of course. I'm really gotta find an easier way to hold these up to the camera, for God's sake. If I can get like square behind it. I know I had this problem in the last stream. But what's cool about this is now you have a whole bunch of different ships, which I'll show, but each ship has two sides. So you could do two different variants. Like this is a modified YT 1300 light freighter, but on the other side you have the ship that we all know and love, the Millennium Falcon. So there's two variants of each ship. And it looks like, for example, if you look on the left-hand side, each one has different special abilities and different stats, but all of them have different slots for putting things. But not all of them are the same. Like, for example, like I thought all of them are the same as far as you have a cargo and mods and crew, but certain ships actually have different amounts of crew or different amounts of cargo. Or maybe they can do a mod, or maybe they can't. Or maybe they can do multiple mods. So each ship is a little different. Not only the different variants you can swap, but it looks like between ships as well. Alright. Trying to see an easy way to do this. It might be easier actually if I rotate this camera actually for a sec, because I got right behind it. It'd be easier to manipulate. So let me do that. Let me see if I can't pull that. I think the reason I didn't do it before, because I think I was going to pull this cord. I think that was the original issue. But let me see, because it would be easier if I could get straight behind it. So give me a sec. I don't want to be funky trying to reveal stuff like it was during the last board game stream. Got a little awkward at times. Let me try some. One sec. What's up, Knackers? No, yeah, this is, what's up, Knackers? Yeah, no, this is Star Wars Outer Rim, which is a standalone board game. It's actually similar to Rebellion, if you catch me at the very beginning, because it's also designed by Corey Konixia, so you see similar dice, like, for example, hit dice, but these are marbled, actually really cool looking. The components of this game are, yeah, I'll say it, fucking awesome. But no, this is a 1 to 4 player board game. All about you trying to be a criminal in the Outer Rim. Alright. Give me a second here. That's what make it easier to do my card reveal if I can get behind the camera instead of trying to negotiate. Okay, I'll try this. Alright. Get stuff in the screenshot. Cool. Good enough. Because I want to show you all the different cards. Alright, so here is Millennium Falcon. Millennium Falcon. Here we got Fire Spray Patrol Craft. And again, it looks like each ship and variant you want to look at not only could have different special ability in the lower left-hand corner, but also different amounts of cargo and crew and mods and stats. So like it's really like you could play this game and just being different ships and characters, you're gonna see different shit. Here's Slave 1, which is Boba Fett's ship. But like even the looks of this, see how it's not shaped like a perfect square, it's kind of like rigided. So it just looks, it looks more unique. Interesting. Which, if you ever studied usability, is kind of just like part of how the brain works. The brain likes complicated things instead of mundane things it already knows what it is. Because your brain likes trying to figure out shit. That's why a complicated shape like a trapezoid looks more interesting than a square. Just because your brain's trying to figure out what type of shape is it, what does it do? Instead of a square, yeah, we all know what it is and what it does. It's just, I think it's interesting anyway. And then stuff that's more interesting, that's going to be bigger dopamine kicks, and so you're going to think it's more fun. That's the biology of the fun. But yeah, it's like, it's just cool. Like, just look at this. The different ships you can play as, some variants, and then different things you can upgrade. Just look at, like I said, just the components. It's really cool. This is the heavy-duty lifter. That's what it said. Oh, I also noticed the different people also different ships also have different amount of starting credits, and that's the top right-hand side too. Right. Top left-hand side, different amount of credits. It's cool. This is the Dark Angel. Dark Angel, I don't know who flies this, but I approve of this message. Obviously, it's a bounty hunter or somebody in the Syndicate. I just don't recall. Or if it was in Solo, I just don't remember. But I approve that ship name. Lancer Class Pursuit Craft. You probably recognize this from X-Wing. Different zooms so you can see what they can do. The Shadow Caster. Yep. Gotta keep a shadow. And that's why I like unboxings like this. They can actually just see what's in the box, all different cards, to get you excited about it. And see, oh, what's your favorite character that you want to play? Because maybe if you see your certain character in the game, that'll make you want to, get the game. That's what it's like for me in IG-11, so... Or IG, I should say. Units. I just think they're cool. Moldy Crow. I remember that actually from Armada. GX1 Short Hauler. This looks like a smaller early version of the G75, which is also a transport ship from, well, classically episode 5, to recall the look of what I'm talking about. This is also the Valorous. Maybe that was like one of the Syndicate Lords ships or something. That's what would be my guess. Warlord. I'm just guessing here. I don't know all the fandom here. A lot of cool stuff. G1A Starfighter. Now we're getting to the more bounty hunters. Wow, look, he starts with 0 credits. 0 credits. Of course, it's also a generic ship. Oh, I see. Some of these are a bunch of generic ships. Okay. Okay. Good to know. So these must be also be used just for ships you interact with, most likely. I was like, why would a player start with no money? That's kind of weird. Alright, so these last four, you get 4 versions of, looks like, more ships. G1A Starfighter and G9 Riggers. But then you have all these other ships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I can count. 8. That's what to say. Odd numbers weird. Alright, so 12 ship cards. They're double-sided. We did the dice. Alright. Now, I'm going to do this last because this looks intricate and cool. Next, let's open these tokens. I don't know if I'm going to necessarily punch. I don't think I'm going to punch them out right now because that's set up, but just show you all the things you can get. And the fact that there's 4 sheets of punch. Got to open this up so you can see it. Yeah, this like I said, this is the production value of this game. If you love cool components and Star Wars, boom. That alone, without knowing anything about the gameplay. I am a fan of double punch boards, and I actually think this is the first game I own that has a double punch board. Just because it gives you pockets to put stuff. Now, Formula D, you could say technically has that similar mechanic, but that uses a plastic vac tray and punch. But similar effect. That way you have something sitting in a well, and then it creates slots to put things. But it's a cool way to do it. I guess Omega Virus kind of did stuff like that too. The fact you had cardboard that's slotted into plastic pieces to create the effect of like when different sectors shut down. But cool way to make components cool without getting too far in the realm of plastic, which is expensive. It's manipulating punch. It's interesting. Or even like what I thought before, like design-wise, is to do the opposite of punch boards. It's like, for example, this. Normally you have a punch board and you punch out what you want to play with. But what if you did the opposite? What if you punched out crap you don't want to play with and the whole square rest of the board with holes was your player board? Then you had slots to put stuff, right? That's kind of the idea to like the top layer of a double punch. Anyway, alright, so you have 4 sheets of punch, and I'll show you what you get. Yo. Some of these pieces might fall out, we'll see. And again, the cardboard is going to make more sense when the game's set up, because even I don't know like what everything's used for, to see all the cool stuff you get. Looks like a lot of damage tokens. The space where you play with is the outer rim looks like a rim, which is kind of thematically cool. The fact that it looks like the outer rim, and it's a circle that goes around the game space. Here you have more of the outer rim. You see some planets like you remember, like Kiesel and Mon Calamari. And then you have a bunch of characters you can see on the right-hand side here. Try to get some better shots. Some of the different character dudes. Like you have Maz, K2SO, people from episodes 8, 9, and 10. Wait, numbers 7, 8, and 9. But you also have people iconically like Grand Admiral Thrawn and Chewbacca, bounty hunters, people like that were in episode 6, like Lobots. You got all sorts of people. Try to zoom in so you better so you can see the pictures. even Mr. Greedo. You see it up top here. Not double-sided. What's interesting is when you have them flipped, you don't know what type of characters they are, other than what series, possibly. That's interesting. Alright, here you have more of the Outer Rim space, more planets, and it looks like then you have bars for the different values of credits. And the cardboard for the credits really does have a really metallic, like it's not a metallic sheen, but it's a metallic art to it, which is cool. It's not like it has like a foil finish or anything that makes it look shiny, but... Alright, then you have some other game UI pieces, whatever they're used for. In addition to tokens at the top that represents small z's, different ships you interact with beyond the ship cards you saw. For example, like you see like the Sea Rock, you see Star Destroyer. Other ships you might remember from Star Wars X-Wing and Star Wars Armada. And then on the bottom here, it looked like all different characters you can play as or interact with, potentially, that look the same shape as Sabak, which is really fun, since that was the game that you see the criminals and smugglers playing all the time. So it's just a fun way to show cool things in the game to tie everything together. It's like, hey, you have to have a cardboard standee. Well, let's have it look like a Sabak card. So, which is funsies. But yeah, you have like Bosk. Oh my god, I can't believe I forget her name. I'll call her Stardust on the right-hand side. I don't know why I forget her name. There's my IG, Boba Fett, Han Solo, Lando, etc., etc. Cool, so that is all the punch. Cool ships, characters, cool credit pieces. Alright, so now I won't hold you to it any longer. I will show you these cool boards. Yeah, again, like, I think this is my first game that has a double punch board that's used for something in the game. Otherwise, I don't think I do. I'm trying to think. I think the next close thing would be Formula D with the wells with the board on top. Yeah. I'm sure this one reason is also why this game is so expensive too, is because of the production value, obviously. And like I said, there is an expansion to this game coming out later this year, which I know was announced on Fantasy Flight's social media. So that's definitely something I will acquire and show in the future also. Alright, so there's 4 of these boards. All of them look exactly the same because these are the different player boards, whereas any player can be any ship or character. This way you can represent who the fuck you are. So you have yellow, orange, looks like black, and white. So you got 4 of these. White, black, orange, yellow. Honestly, I don't think they should have chosen colors so close to each other, like orange and yellow. But I think the reason why they chose that is because they were choosing colors that kind of had a smuggler look to it. It's the only thing I can guess. But you're like, honestly, and the fact that a lot of these boards have black, you should not have had a black player as well, because it's hard to identify what player board this is at a first glance, but that's just design feedback. But anyway, for example, you're looking at one of these, you see that there's space to slot something here. You have space to peg here, maybe it's what the white peg is used for. And then you have space to you can tuck cards underneath in the gear, jobs, or bounties. And then you have a tracker here that you probably slide a component that show your, looks like maybe reputation level with like the Hutts, the Syndicate, Imperials, or Rebels. That's pretty fun. That way it's easy to keep track, values, beyond just like having a dice or token sitting out, because you can knock over dice. And tokens, then you're adding up instead of just quickly seeing the value. So that's cool. So you can see where you're adding these different meters and trackers, and then you have space to organize all your bazillion cards you're getting in the game. Because it looks like there are a bazillion cards in the game. Think of like Twilight Imperium, as far as how many different types of cards. Like you see here, just here alone, there's like 6 different decks. You can see here an example of setup for your player board. You see your slotting cards, moving pegs, slotting stuff under your ship, and then moving your characters around the outer rim. Right. Cool. So then the last thing in the game, token-wise, I mean, reveal-wise, are all the different cards in the game. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly show each card is. Like I said, I don't know anything about gameplay, and I kind of, in some ways, don't want to know, just the surprise of it. But I'll just show you what each card is. That way, if you want to take a look at the cards individually, you can stop the video and take a look. And also, if you don't want to see the cards in the game and want to stop watching now, you can. So the cards are the last components in the box. Other than the 2 different types of player boards, the pieces, the punch. Lastly is the cards. Alright, so it's 2 stacks of cards. I don't know what the different card types are. We'll get into that later. Looks like some of these cards are wordy or control AI and stuff. So I'll just, like I said, I'll just do a quick run through of what is in it. Just because, like, for example, if you have games like Arkham Horror, you know, yeah, you want to see the types of things you can do in the game that are in it, but you don't want to see the minutia of, like, the story and stuff, because you don't want to... It's cool to have surprises in the game. So, I'm trying to see how to do this, whether I'm going to show you these or not. So it looks like these are weapons you can buy. See it has the credits up top, so maybe you can buy these, I'm guessing. Different weapons that have different things, which is cool. And that's cool. Like, it's like people like buying stuff and people like leveling up. So the fact that this is in the game is fun. Like, I remember that's one of the things I really liked about Twilight Imperium was just the upgrading stuff and making stuff, just because that's just fun. It's fun to level, it's fun to collect, it's fun to earn, it's fun to upgrade. Just a fun thing to do. Alright, so those are, oh, I see, those are gear. You see written here. Then these are all jobs, things you can do to earn credits. Alright, so now we have, looks like, ships you can buy. And this is a quick thing of the stats and stuff you can buy. So like you go to a shop or something, I'm assuming. All of the different ships. Don't worry about if you can't see all the stats and stuff, because you've actually seen these before. And just like I said for the cards in this deck, I don't want to reveal necessarily what the cards do, just what are cool things you can see and do in the game. This is gear, but I don't understand why it's upside down. Oh, maybe it's because you do an event and then you could potentially find something? Not sure. It's kind of weird. It must mean something. Maybe it's like once the conclusion, and these are stuff you do. This way you don't accidentally read it. So that's a clever way, I have to say, to not spoil a story when you want to have everything on the same space to reference. That's one of the things I have to say that KDM didn't do well, is whereas you want to get some information because the game's super punishing, or just because you need to know how to set up different things, while you're doing so, you accidentally, because it's on the same page, read other stuff which really you shouldn't have read because it spoils it for you, but you can't, control where you look because you look at a page to find something and all the information's there. So I don't know, I just thought it's a clever way to have information, but you can't see it. So when you're ready, it probably tells you to flip the card so you can see what that is. So that's pretty clever. As opposed to saying, go to this card and then have a different card to see the result. That's another way you can do it, but then you have more places you have to go to try to play the game. It adds more administrative work to the game, right? So which means the game will take longer. Looking for another card as opposed to just turning the card, right? So, moral of the story, cool idea. Okay, so here's some, looks like crew cards and what they look like. You can get some crew. And this looks like there's things you have to do in order to get crew, potentially. Or maybe it's things that the crew wants to do, like their own personal quest or something. I'm not sure. But there's like stuff you do, and then there's crew cards. It's like I saw stuff that happens, and then gear cards. So that's cool. It's kind of like you're playing out mini story events. That's what these cards look like. So that's cool. And there's a lot of cards. So really, like, every time you play this game, you're going to see some different stuff. And there's different characters you can play as, different ways you can equip, or do stuff to win the game. Like, to win the game, I don't know if you necessarily need the most credits, or just get the most, like, reputation or something. But, a lot of things going on in the game. These look like things that like event cards, like things that happen, as opposed to purchasables, which were the first batch cards that I showed. There's a shit ton of these. Don't worry, like I said, don't worry about if you can't read, because I kind of don't want to spoil it for you anyway. But just show you like the types of cards. I'll also zoom in to see another example. Like here's the Ring of Kafrine, and then other stuff happens on Takodana, which then reveals an escape pod mod if something happens and you get something. For an instance. Yeah, a huge deck of cards that different things happen, which is cool. Because if you saw the same stuff every time you played, then it would get a little repetitious. But then at the same time, you also kind of want a player to eventually see the content. Otherwise, you've made content that no one sees, and then that's sort of a waste also. So there's like a sweet spot as far as that goes. Design-wise, my best example of that is thinking of like Betrayal at House on the Hill. It's cool that they have so much content, but what wasn't done well was the fact that to gate it so people don't repeat the same content. That way it's always brand new. But at the same time, still in Betrayal, even though I've played the game probably like 15 times, and let's say I've seen 12 different hunts, there's still like just the base game, 30 plus haunts I've never seen, and then the expansion added another 50. So it's like it just sucks that there's so much content that I would have never experienced. Is what I'm saying, right? But it's cool. There's a lot of content to see. All right, so now you have one more stack of cards. So there are 2 hefty stacks of cards you got to doing stuff in the game. Man. So I'll show you this last stack. It's just my arm's getting tired, kind of holding this up to the camera. But all right, let's do it. And again, like I'm not necessarily focused on whether you can read it or not, because this is stuff, story events and bumps in the game that have interesting things that happen, and I don't want to also give it away to you. It's not like when I showed you cards for like I just want to show you types of stuff in the game. Like here's some crew. Like a Crook Roll, Munchkin. Those are just cards that you can play with. It's like showing someone a deck of cards in poker. It's like, okay, these are the things you can play with. But this game not only has cards that you play with to do things, it also has cards that are like story beats in the game, events in the game. And those are reveal moments, and those are special. So you don't necessarily want to see them, is what I am trying to say. Here's some cool characters and crew, jobs, IG units, I'm always a fan of. K2SO, actually it's probably the funniest droid. He was actually a really cool character. Alright, now we have, looks like cards used for a friendly game of Sabak. So it looks like you can just play as Sabak in the game, which is the shape I referenced. That's what the cards look like in Sabak. Oh, the green cards just looks like it's something that happens in the game, step by step. No, it's just to show 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's something like if you pass one, you go on to the next one, sort of thing. So it's cool, like story beats that happen. Now we have bounties. Vehicle parts you can acquire. Here's some more jobs. So many cards. Lots of stuff going on. Here you have the main characters. Lando, Dr. Afra, that's who that is. Jyn Erso, there you go. Ketsu Onyo, probably butchered that. This is how to play the game. Cards. AI cards that control AI things that happen in the game when it's their move. Then you have some more bounties. A lot of bounties. Outer Rim likes their bounties. Some wanted jobs if you need to get a job. Smuggling compartments, different cargo. Looks like cargo's blue. And then you have crew, which is yellow. Gear is green. The use of the different colors is, again, take me back to like Omega Virus. Red are mods. Cool. Lot of different shite in the game. Cool. Well, that is English 1, 2, 3. Everything you get in Star Wars Outer Rim. Ton of cards, really cool player boards, and the quality of them. High quality dice, and it looks like a lot of shit going on in the game. Well, thanks for watching. Again, I'm going to do a future stream of me playing solo Star Wars Outer Rim, but also expect when the expansion comes out for this game later this year, similar to streams as well. Let me know your thoughts, what you think, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe here on twitch.tv/Ismortah. Again, this is Ismortah, and I will catch you next time.